All right, and we're live. Welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and even uh, hit the thanks button later. That'll show up. And I say that only because YouTube benefits me when I say that. And if I don't, they get mad. The algorithm gets angry. So let's see. Anybody here? Yeah, somebody is here already. All right, just me and you, whoever it is. You can say something. I will yell at you first. And the show begins now. Whatever. I like hitting the button. All right. So I see a couple people are gathering. We need more. If I just make one person happy tonight, that's not enough, man. We need more. Call your friends and enemies. Something. Steve Moody's here. Hey, Steve. I see you comment all the time on videos. I appreciate it. On there. See if any of the crowd gathers. 3. All right. We're up to 3. I mean, last week, I think we had 101 people, something like that. A lot of chat, a lot of questions. And we're doing this every Monday, hopefully, through whenever the Raiders finish their season, which I expect is the Super Bowl. So I guess we're going to February out there. All you haters, sorry, whatever. And what is it? A week from Saturday for the first game. And I think 6 weeks till the first regular season game, or 5 now, maybe. I don't know. I lost track. It's August. I know that much on there. You see the whiteboard. There's always things you want to subscribe to. And new book is coming out pretty soon. Just waiting for a few people gather. And it'll be an update of this one. So if you haven't gotten this one, you still can, but you might as well wait for the new one. It's going to say 100 Things Commanders Fans and have a Commanders helmet. It'll have 5 new chapters, taking out 5 old chapters, updated the book on a lot of stats and things like that, but mostly the old books. If you had the old book, thanks for buying. If you want a new version of it, it's revised. The publisher wanted to do it. I was up for the money. Hey, why not? So that's it. All right, we got a question. The Dubs family. How's it going? Thanks for the great content. I appreciate it. Things are going well. My health is good. I'll be able to practice some this week. Can't go tomorrow. I have something to do. But practice has been, decent. Hasn't been hot as blazes like normal. It was hot in Carlisle. People think Carlisle, Pennsylvania is cooler. No, it was every bit as hot and steamy in Carlisle and D.C. Frostburg, man, that was a vacation in the mountains weather-wise. So, all right, so here we go. Steve Moody wants to know what's really going on with Curtis Samuel. A little skeptical, I see, Curtis, and you know what? I don't blame you one bit. I kind of sitting here thinking the same thing. Something's up. It's sure taking this slow. Last year, there's the problem. We don't always tell people the truth last year. Now people don't always want to listen to it this year. So it's natural to be suspicious. I have seen him run around the field. I know they're taking it slow. Right now, he hasn't practiced every day. We're just going to have to wait and see. A week from now, I don't know. But Rivera kind of said they were going to ramp him up, steady, ramp up, steady, ramp up to the regular season. So we'll see. I'm glad they got Dotson in the end. I think he'll be their number 2 in the end behind Terry. All right. Let's see. Abe is back again. Hi, Abe. How you doing? Alexander says you can't rely on Curtis Samuel. Well, so far, you're right about that. Now, who knows? Maybe we'll get past it. I've seen guys get past injuries and play a while, but not all of them. And Justin says, yeah, they need everybody healthy. Yeah. That's been a big problem. I really think the COVID thing wrecked their season last year. When they had to delay a game till Tuesday, you had so many players that were still getting over it. And, I have not had COVID, thank God, but anybody who has can tell you it takes a while. Well, go start playing a football game with 300-pound men smashing each other. They gassed out by the half, and they lost that game, and then they only had 5 days to get to play Dallas, and that was a loss, and the season just blew it right there. So good health is everything, COVID and just natural injuries. All right, Paul wants to know how good is the O-line going to be this season? Good question. I want to see Cosme, improve. I think that's vital. I think Chase will be there opening day at center. I think Schweitzer will be one of the guards. So I think they could be decent. They've got to be a better better pass blocking line than last year. Carson needs some time. He says, I haven't seen your video on Chase yet. Actually, I just put it up a couple hours ago. So you can see that on YouTube. or Twitter. And then MacGyver. Wow, I got a MacGyver. Okay. I'm feeling more positive vibes from fans after an early summer. Um, what are you sensing from fans from your perspective? Seen some. I actually met the rally captain the other day at practice, and this guy, man, he's the kind of guy you want to go to war with. This dude's ready to play. So I think fans are optimistic, but cautiously because how many times we've been down this road the last 30 years. Let's see. Michael says there will be people in the stands, which means the NFL could care less about knowledge about COVID and all. But yeah, the NFL only cares about making money. This Deshaun Watson thing today, I thought he got off light. And for Bob Kraft to be saying that this gives a bad look on the league, Bob Kraft, of all people, who was in a massage parlor and got a slap on the wrist. The NFL is just so uneven in how they handle things. And I think people are going to remember Goodell not favorably in the end because he catered to the owners too much. Not happy about how he's been the last few years. Yeah, Michael said 6 games for sexual assault. Well, because they were all settled out of court, except for one now, it's alleged. Because, they took the money and settled. Zach wants to know, is there a chance Hal takes Heineke's spot? I've been talking about Hal for a while, haven't I? And I think there's 2 things that could go with Heineke. One, I think Heineke is looking better in practice this year. His arm strength is better. I think he got worn down last year. 2, I think he's the backup, no matter what. But 3, could he be a trade bait guy? Maybe. If somebody loses their quarterback early, could be that, and you move Hal up to 2. I think Hal's a future starter for this team. A lot of good skills, good arm. Today at practice, I think there was 5 interceptions or something, several by Wentz. So it wasn't a good day. The defense always has an advantage early in the practices this time of year. But they put the pads on Tuesday, so that makes a little bit of a difference. But then Carson's taken, I think, too much time, and he needs to be more of a quick-fire passer, I think, that'll cut down on turnovers. Abe says, best time being a Washington fan is up till the preseason games. Yeah, I can't remember. Besides Spurrier, I don't remember a coach caring about preseason games at all. But, man, to the point now where they barely want to do anything with them. No, man, winning is an everyday thing, as Lombardi said. And I'm not saying you got to win all your preseason games, but you got to try and play your starters more, especially with just 3 games. If you're going to throw away the third one to the scrubs, that's 2 games. At least let them play some in the 2 games. If somebody gets hurt, then that's how life goes sometimes. All right, Zach, our quarterback depth will hopefully stand out in preseason. Yeah, I think so. I think Hal will look good second halves. So I think you're right. Paul's worried about Wentz. Everybody's worried about Wentz because at the end of the day, Wentz and the D-line are the 2 keys to the season. And if they both stink, then it's going to be a bad year. But we'll see. And then there'll be a lot of chaos next year, that's for sure. Mission Barbecue. Buy this big thing, and you get to keep the cup, and it throws money to the veteran causes. Love Mission Barbecue. Not a paid political announcement. All right, Michael, these least use preseason to evaluate the last few roster spots. Now I doubt they even do that. I would say, listen, I can remember being a beat writer in the mid-'90s. The beat guys would all put their 53-man roster in a box, and we'd open them up back when the season started after cuts. And, most people got maybe 1 wrong. So, 2, more than 2 was a lot if you really. So, yeah, they pretty much know, especially with all these OTAs now and camps, they kind of know what goes on. And injuries could change it. But other than that, they pretty much know what they have. Let's see. Rivera talking about Kerrigan inquiring about coaching from Abe. Yeah, Kerrigan wants to see what the coaching life is like. And I got news for him. Ryan, it's all work. Not that Ryan's afraid of work, but being an assistant coach means probably working really 100 hours a week. They make decent money. The lowest guys are making 6 figures. The upper guys are making millions. But, what's the price on your time? I used to work 80-hour weeks. I can tell you, it's exhausting. You don't get much else in your life. But if that's what you want to do, you got to want to do it. And, Ryan's got 3 young children. I think maybe a high school coach or something like that would be good for him. It's great they're letting him hang out and learn and see this for a couple of weeks and see what he wants to do. That's a great thing. Outlaw King asks, what's up with Curtis Samuel? I think that's going to be a reoccurring question tonight. Um, they're just being cautious. I don't think there's anything like last year when they didn't tell us all of it. I don't think it's that way because he's on the field some. I can see him running fine. I don't know if it's just being cautious or what, because if he blows out again, that's 2 years. See ya, another busted signing. Can we say Paul Richardson or something like that? Maybe. You know. Zach wants to know Cole Turner taking John Bates' spot at number 2. No, different roles. Cole's going to be a receiver target. Bates is going to be a blocking guy. But they'll both get plenty of time. I love Turner. I'm telling you right now. Get him in your fantasy league. Like down. This guy can catch some balls. Going to catch some touchdowns this season. Michael says they have 0 depth behind Samuel, so if he gets injured, they're screwed. Well, they got a lot of receivers. I don't think so. I mean, he's not the end all. Terry gets hurt. That makes it tougher. But Samuel, so far, they've soldiered on without him. So Samuel could be the opening day starter, Paul, on there. They're going to try. Don has a horse racing question. Has race riding changed, or the stewards calling less claim a foul? I think they are calling less claims. I used to be a horse racing rider for 5 years back in the 80s. So I was around every day. My office was next to the stewards. And I think they were harder on the jocks then. It's a dangerous sport out there, man. You can get killed and badly hurt. And riders tend to police things. If a guy is reckless on the track, they'll settle it themselves. I once was standing right by the scale in the winner's circle, and the first jockey goes around me, and these are smaller guys, and hides behind me. So when the other guy comes out around me, he turns around and tries to hit him, but hits me in the back instead. But it was like somebody went, what was that? They're small guys. But they were fighting over something that happened in the track, because these guys are very much aware their lives are on the line. Trust me, try and stand in like a toy saddle that weighs a pound on a horse going 30 miles an hour for a few minutes. It's not easy. In the movie Seabiscuit, is the movie Seabiscuit a classic? Yeah. I mean, I happen to know Laura Hillenbrand. If you look in the book, I'm in the acknowledgments for helping her. I did a very, very small part. But I remember meeting her when she called me up and said, hey, I need some help with this book. I'm writing about a horse from the 30s. And I thought, who? She goes, Seabiscuits. I thought, really? You want to write this, 90 years later? And she says, yeah, I don't care how many it sells. I just want to write it. I think she sold like 5 million copies. Great gal. Let's see. UFC should have a jockey weight class. Well, they weigh, I've noticed jockeys getting a little bigger lately. Jockeys weighs 100 to 110. And they are muscle. Give them that. They're all muscle. MacGyver says, do we know anything new about the stadium? Nah, it's been quiet. I haven't heard anything because everything else going on. Nobody wants to ask about Dan Snyder? I haven't heard anything. All right. Paul Green wants to know, is Josh Bell on the trading block for the Nats? Oh, yeah, definitely. That would be a shame. He's played really well for this team. The question is, he's still going to be around to play well by the time they are any good. Or, I don't know. I hate to see him strip the team down again, because what are you watching at that point? That's the hardest part of these trades, is you just have nothing to watch. Maybe long-term it'll work. I mean, Rizzo's done a good job overall on this. Is Dan ever spotted around practice anymore? Asked Gabe. Not like he used to be. He used to be there every day. Cook used to be there pretty often. The Squire would come and have a chair for him at the sideline, all that. Snider tends to sit in a golf cart on the opposite side from where the media is, so we don't get to really talk to him. So we'll see. I expect to see him soon, but he doesn't come all the time anymore. He used to wear the suit and tie to practice when he was a young owner like that, but 20 years later, he'd be wearing sweats and stuff, and I thought, wow, it's so different, than what he was when he was younger. But then again, weren't we all? I was a young man. I had hair when he had the team. I pulled it all out on there. Let's see. We got about 20 people online. Good. Could use a few more. Call your friends and say, man, this dude's talking about everything for free. And that's because once this ends, there's a thanks button. You can watch us on replay anytime. And thanks button's like a tip jar. And I'm getting old and trying not to fade away. So I appreciate it if you do it. Let's see. Is Snyder still under double secret probation? Yeah, pretty much. Nothing's come out yet on the House transcripts. Uh, I think we'll see something when it pleases the political gods. I'm not sure. He talked for 11 hours. My God, what did you talk about for 11 hours? I mean, I know they took breaks, but see, lawyers get paid by the hour. So, that's the nonsense with that. If you've ever been depositioned, you know what I'm talking about. They basically want to talk to you until you slip up somehow and go, gotcha. Oh, it's so aggravating on that. I had my brother-in-law killed, and in the deposition, they showed me a picture of a knife. And what they didn't show me for a long time was, this is knife, this is knife. I finally saw the other side of the knife had distinct markings, which proved it wasn't his. But the lawyers were trying to trick me. Not a big lawyer fan. All right, Alexander, can't wait for the team to trade Soto and Bell. Okay. Yeah. What do I say about that? No, keep Soto and see if the new owner pays for him. What's the biggest mistake Snider made during his tenure? He would often say it was firing Casserly early. That was a dumb move. But firing Schottenheimer, I think, was his dumbest move because there was a personality conflict there. There was a lot of stuff going on that maybe wouldn't have happened today. But they were getting ready to be a decent team under Marty. And that set them back because then they got Spurrier, and that set everything back. So they lost a few years. I would say firing Marty was his biggest mistake. Rest in peace, Marty. He was a hard guy to cover, but he was a good guy. Paul misses Dan spending that money, man. Yeah, woo! Yeah, got dollar bills everywhere, huh? Dropping dimes. But and they had a few hits, but a lot of misses on all this. Hiring Zorn, the biggest one, says Mike. No. I would be third. I like Zorn. He was a good guy, but no, it was a bad move. But firing Marty and Charlie were even worse, in my opinion. So I don't think so. Where's Preston? Where's the stadium stand right now? In Landover. Nothing at the moment. I think Snyder's been too preoccupied with other things, and politicians are a little wary of what goes on. Spurrier was a mistake, I guess. I mean, he had a great college resume, but if you had talked to him for 5 minutes, you'd realize this isn't a pro coach. There is a difference. Donna, what would it take to move the Preakness from Baltimore to Laurel? It may. I don't think it's going to come temporarily for a year or two. There was talk about it because they're trying to, renovate Pimlico, and they're actually going to move the track like this, and change the landscape. And they may have to do it for a year, but that's it. Because Pimlico has all the politicians who in Baltimore who want to pay all this money to renovate the thing, and Preakness State is the big moneymaker. Steve asked, nobody any good wanted to work with Snyder. I wouldn't say that because Marty's a good guy, but they all get lured by the money, and they all hear what they want to hear out of Dan, which is, I'll be good. Yeah, okay. But you hear what you want to hear. Let's see. Rational Commanders fan. We have a rational Commanders fan? All right. Putting emotions aside, as a historian of football, how would you rank all the team's owners? Well, I mean, if I had to rank, would say the Redskins owners, the best one. I know you want to say Cook, but I might say Marshall. And I know that, the racial stigma is a big deal. But the man brought the team here, and Marshall was a big deal in the NFL in the early years. So might go Marshall, Cook. I have to think about that. Edward Bennett Williams was a great boss of the place. He really wasn't the owner, but he was great. And then Dan. Leonis has tried hard. Abe Poland, I think, did better. Obviously, he had more playoff teams. Abe was a great man, really was. Did so much for the city, things you never even heard about. They used to do things like just give all these computers to kids in the schools and all. I mean, Abe really put a lot of money out there for the city on there. And then the Learners, well, the Learners didn't screw it up, but they didn't want to hold on either. That's kind of a disappointment. Abe once says, is there a remote chance Snyder's going to be forced to sell? Don't think so. I think it would have happened if it was going to happen. So slamming and jamming 87. I know your brother 86, but any chance we see Sam Howell starting the season? I have said Sam Howell will start a game this season, and I don't finish the sentence, but it's because of injuries. Because hey, this team has run through quarterbacks with injuries so much. I'm just playing the odds there that he'll get a chance, but not because Carson or anything. Any of you guys got the Commanders app? That comes on. Not that I'm promoting it. But man, this thing buzzes me with updates a dozen times a day. Okay, Paul Green says, I'm still hoping DC gets the new Commander Stadium. I don't think so, but I guess there's always a chance. Change owners might change people's minds. But right now, the city council has the real power, and they're not looking to do it. Alexander asked, should Jerry Smith be in the Hall of Fame? I would say yes. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people like Sonny. Yeah. I mean, Jacoby didn't even make the seniors list this time. The final candidates. How stupid was that? It's just some dumb people doing this. Okay, Sheldon, after a week of camp, what position are you most concerned about? Still say linebacker. I just haven't seen enough there yet. Outside of that, nothing yet because they haven't really started the pads and all. Okay, Kevin asks, is Curtis Samuel a bust? I would say not yet, but you missed this season? Yeah, but that's a long way between then and now. His Commanders. Fader says his Commanders app just dings. It might ding like a dozen times a day. Let's see. Grandizer said, hitting the like button to show support. Team Javen Davis. All right, so you hit the like button. I appreciate that. Everybody, hit your like button. I'm doing this for free. David Rogers, do you think the defense is looking so good because the offense is so bad? I think it's a little more of each. I mean, you can't hit the passer. They have so much extra time. That skews things a little bit. This defense should be better than this offense. All right, that's number one. Abe, was there a time when teams would have the writers' appreciation dinner? I've only been around since the 80s, and no, I've never seen that. If it happens other places, good for them. But Dan Snyder bought me a drink once, and said North Turner over the years. So we all happen to be in the same bars, and Dan paid for drinks once, early years. Now, and then Russ Grimm used to be behind the bar up in Frostburg, and he would just pour beer for us all the time. So that worked out pretty well. But at dinner, no. But we do eat free at the games, and sometimes they buy a meal during the season, during the week, especially if we're working a lot of weird long hours or the draft, things like that. If you're going to be there forever, it's nice to have some food. Paul Green, is Washington, will they still draft a quarterback next year? Don't think so, but it's a long way to win now. And I want to see what Hal can do. I mean, I really think Hal could be like Kirk, mid-round pick. I don't know what Jason's looking for, ruining chances of whatever, Michael. I don't know what that is. I know Jason. It's been quite a while since he's been out there. Okay, Alexander asks, what's the deal with Ted Williams and the Wizards? Does he put faith in the wrong people? Well, he did for a long time with Ernie. Ernie couldn't find anybody outside of a backup European player to draft. So that hurt. I think Ted's loyalty is he gives them every opportunity. And if you fire people quicker, we claim he's like Dan. So I guess there's no way to win that one. You got to win games. Let's see. Kevin, can the Commanders find a linebacker, or they just stop looking? Well, I think they stop looking until cuts. And then you see if somebody out there is worth grabbing. But probably, it's hard to bring a guy in like that because then he hasn't spent any time. I mean, that's the Jimmy Garoppolo thing. You want a quarterback now when camp's starting, how's he supposed to produce anything not knowing the system? If you want a Garoppolo, you needed to get him back in the spring. Okay, so Zach says, I hope Wentz proves people wrong. Yeah, I think Indianapolis was like, why'd you break up with that beautiful woman? Like Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley break up, and you go, how in the world did you throw Christy Brinkley away? And so obviously you don't want to take the blame yourself. So you say, that woman was crazy, and you always, and that's what Irsay did. Irsay's not a good owner, in my opinion. I knew his father too. They were not the best of owners. So I take nothing they say worth anything. There's a lot of sour grapes out there on there. Let's see, Abe. Are we going to have more Washington fans versus road teams in the stands this year? Can't have less, put it that way. If it comes down, I think, to the first couple of games, they were to start 0-2 against Jacksonville, Detroit. I mean, you're going to have, fed up field's going to be empty. Um, Alexander said Ted not believing in tanking is just plain stupid. I get what you're saying, but you got to still be in the lotto to get these top picks. And I like to win games whenever you can win games, unless it's the one game at the last game of the season where it really makes a difference. Then you play your developmental players, whatever. We've seen that enough. Mr. Attitude Era. Interesting name. Sam Howell is something that we'll have to build a future if things go down. Yes, I like Sam. I think it was a really good pick. Paul Green says, will Brian Mitchell get in the Hall of Fame? I hate to say this, but I doubt it. Not much push for it, and I think that's wrong. I think Brian deserves to be in. Jacoby, Gary Clark. Those three, I think, absolutely deserve to be in. Let's see, Kevin, where do you think they'll build the stadium? Landover. At this point, Landover. I mean, Virginia's backed away, and D.C. claims it doesn't have something. Zach says if we start 0-2, free up the Sundays the rest of the year. Yeah, you can go rake leaves, without regret. Abe wants to know how I have a big arm. Yeah, I mean, he's a lot like Carson. He's got the arm. Frozen ropes, not a problem there. Now, where do you throw it? That's another matter. But, yeah, how has a good arm. I was impressed with the guy. Somebody doesn't eat red meat, they got to get him to start eating some. In the old days, we always talk about what's about how the Commanders now have a personal chef. Those players can eat 3 times a day free at this place if they want. But in the old days of the Super Bowl, the team used to buy McDonald's every day. And those players ate, McDonald's and fries, burgers and fries every day. And I noticed because the media would get whatever was left over. And the Hogs like to be jerks, so they would take whatever burgers were left and they'd smash them in half. And, you'd pick through everything going, oh, yeah, this fish sandwich, I got half of it. We were really bad. Should have just, but yeah. So, 3 Super Bowls with McDonald's, what can I say? But everybody, I would rather see healthy players, but I'm just saying, it's not what you eat, it's what you do on the field. Let's see. Any cool stories of Sonny and Sam? And they were so much fun. I used to hang out with both of them a lot. Sam was a great guy, a no mercy, straightforward guy, but a good guy. And Sonny too. I mean, Sonny could tell some great stories. And talking to Sonny for 2 minutes would tell you more about what happened in the quarterbacks in the game than anything. He could just see things you hadn't even thought of. And I used to talk to Sonny after every game because he would just he would say it simply. Did you see that pass? And that was his way of saying, yeah, screwed that one up, didn't he? Sonny could point something out very subtly. But he used to tear into Zorn in the post-gamers because Zorn would do dumb calls. And Sonny would get him. And Zorn would get mad because he couldn't defend himself on there. If they start out 0-2, will Hal be the starter, asked Paul? No. Let's see. Soto just hit a home run against Max. Oh, cool. And I'm sitting here doing this. Okay. And Max gave up more solo homers than any great pitcher I ever saw in the early parts of games. And then he'd tick them off and he'd bear down. I loved watching Max. Is there a no-name rookie that will make this team? Yes. I can't remember his first name, but No Tree, the linebacker. I don't know. It keeps catching my eye out in practice, so I'll put him there. Let's see. Terry Bradshaw criticized the heck out of Sonny. Well, I like Terry too. He's a great guy. Terry has a show on like TLC or something with his family out on his ranch in Texas. It's funny to watch on there. Terry's a funny guy too. I miss most of the old guys. They're gone now. Now I'm the old guy. I saw Kime wrote about me doing 2-minute reports on Ray Flaherty's offense. And I said, I grew up reading Kime, so I can't criticize him. But he's not that much younger than me. He just looks younger on there. Some of us didn't win that gene pool. How's Cameron Curl look this camp? Asked Zach. Good so far. I think the safeties are like kamikazes on a football field. If they're smart and kamikazes, man, they're awesome. And I think Cam has done a great job. Paul used to like Riggo in the booth calling games. Yeah, but sometimes I felt like Riggo wasn't prepared enough, which would be Riggo. Is Dan still in France? No, I don't believe so, Kevin. I think he might be back here. Now there's no more subpoena waiting for him kind of thing to keep it out. How's Mathis looked in camp? Asked Abe. A tough one for me to say so far because interior alignments and it's no hitting. I can't tell you yet, but by the end of this week I can. So come back next Monday. How many bad defensive games before Del Rio is gone? That's a good question. Could it happen during the season? Yeah, it could, but I don't think so. How is the day going? Pretty good. So it's 8:29 here. So it's almost over. All right, Grandizer, reporting for duty. Very good. Go get me a sandwich. I used to have the interns, the Redskins, and the Commanders. Not so much this year because it's still COVID stuff, but in the past, I used to get these summer interns, kids that were college kids looking for a resume builder. Nothing wrong with that. But they would get them from these really big schools. I remember this one kid was from Cornell, and he was studying business finance. I'm like, what are you doing here? And it was basically, yeah, go have some fun. I said, all right, well, then go get me a soda. He looked at me like I was nuts. But they have a lot of great young men. They had one that was studying to be a dentist a couple years ago in Richmond. Good kids. There's a long story to tell about that, which is in the book. It'll be in a new book about the guy who became the general of the U.S. Armed Forces, was a Redskins intern under Lombardi, and Lombardi chewed him out, said one day and said he'd never be anything, and the guy went on to be the chief of staff. And when he had his retirement party, his resume included intern Washington Redskins 1969. So Lombardi was a little wrong about that one. Let's see. How much will Soto lose if he's not traded by Tuesday? I don't think anything. He's going to get a $500 million contract, maybe a $6 million. If they wait a couple years, then I think he's at $6 million on there. Will training camp come back to Richmond? Asked Kevin. No, but they are going down for one day, late August, for a few hours just to meet and greet fans. I love the facility down there. I didn't mind the drive because I live across town in Washington. It takes almost as long as it did to go to Richmond. And nothing Richmond did wrong. It's just I think now they're getting ready for wherever the next year-round facility will be. They couldn't do certain things in Richmond as easily. They couldn't travel away under that old contract to spend 3 days at someone else's camp doing inter-squad stuff. And if you can't go there, nobody wanted to come here. So that cost them. I think that was one of the reasons. Let's see. Hey, boy, Abe's got a lot. Are you heading to any road games this year? Yeah, I did for many, many, many years. But not anymore because I'm not paid to go anymore. So this I'm not saying this is my last year. I don't know when that is. I think my health will tell me that. But kind of enjoying watching games on TV, on the road games, and being around home a little more. Spent a lot of years on the road. So anybody that's done that will tell you, it's not easy. Let's see. How big can Maryland football become? Asked Jeff. I think they're, in 8-4 seasons about what they can be. They're, in this Big Ten, they don't have the ammo to fight about things. They do have a great new practice facility where the old Cole Fieldhouse was. They changed it inside. It's state of the art. I think that's about all there is. All right, Grandizer, new to the stream. Do I live in Washington, D.C. area? Yes. Am I a season ticket holder? No, I'm a sports columnist. Now with 106.7 The Fan, Odyssey.com. I write for them regularly. The Command Post, which is a magazine. Let me see if I got that here. Yeah, here it is. One just came out. You guys have probably never seen this. All right, this is now a monthly tabloid. It used to be a weekly. It's all about the Commanders. I've been the editor of this thing since the 90s. Some of the other beat writers contribute to it. It's all that. So American Sports Media, if you Google it, they have an 800 number. You can get it. It's not that expensive, and it's all Commanders. And let's just say we're a little more positive, but still realistic when we write for these things. Let's see. What was the best training camp? Carlisle. Carlisle back when the team was good in the 80s. Let's see. Who else we have? Okay, Kevin. Have journalists changed a lot because of technology? I was thinking about that today, yeah. Partly because what I used to carry in my bag, I used to have a roller bag because you had to carry the media guide, the NFL rules guide, record book, all the box score stuff. Now it's all on my computer. That's one thing I really love. It used to be you had to really have more time to send stuff. Now it's instantaneous with the internet. But now these poor guys are stuck on doing Twitter and all this stuff all the time, where I had the luxury more as a beat writer to have the day to work on a story, and that helped a lot. I don't like all this typing everybody has to do, and let's do video, let's do this and that. You don't see me do a lot of these kind of things because I like what I like to do. I like to do well, and if you do 10 different things, then all of it's just eh. And there's a lot of guys out there shooting video practice and such. You can watch them. You don't need me to do it too. Let's see. And also Grandizer. I'm a 6th generation Washingtonian. That's why I say Washington with an R, because we're old school. Hank asks, who's the better corner, Jackson or Fuller? Talked about Jackson tomorrow morning, my video. I think he's going to do better this year. He finally understands his own handoff kind of scheme more than when he was a man-to-man coverage and didn't want to do that. Michael asks, drones change because no one wants to pay for experience. You got that right. You know, I mean, I'm only in the game still because I have wanted to be a reporter and writer since I was 12. And if I was doing this for the money, I'd be an idiot because now it's just sort of eking out and getting by. That's why I do say the thanks button. You know, when this is over with, or go to another video and see the thanks button. You can tip a few bucks. It helps, man. If I was worried about money, I would go do other things. But I do a lot of different things, including tour guiding, if you want to go on tour. And I make a living and grew up without much. Don't really worry about being rich. All right. So, David, what do you think is the cause of all the marketing gaffes the team has done? I think it's probably don't have an experienced person. I mean, it was like, you got to get rid of everybody, clean house. Okay, so they did. And then there's nobody to say, you know, so whatever. Real people wants to know what age I am now. Let's just say older than dirt. Don Allen, did you ever deliver newspapers when you were a kid? Yes, I did for 3 years. Washington Daily News closed, and I should have known newspapers were on the way out then when they closed. But then I became a Washington Star carrier for about 3 years. Back when the Sunday paper would be like this big, man, you would be like biking down the street with more weight on papers than I was. But it was great. And then by 18, I was working at a newspaper. Let's see. Real People says the team needs to wake up or cash make it happen. I'm not sure, Real People, what that means. Try to hit me again on that. But this team definitely could, and I am not lobbying for team historian, but they really could use somebody for that. And there are a bunch of guys out there like Kevin Sheehan or Andy Poland, David Elfin. There's a bunch of guys that have written books, Tom Libero. They've all written books. They could be something like that, but maybe one day they will. What really happened between Redskins and Junior Gillette? Asked Kevin. Junior kept getting hurt, and then Junior got upset. You know, he did 2 years, and he was upset the team just didn't hang in there and had some potential, but the dude's hurt. So, that's the way it goes. They change coaches. Let's see. Nathaniel Daly, love that name. Where's your favorite Mexican restaurant in D.C.? Ooh, I don't eat Mexican in D.C. very much. Eat pizza a lot. I'll have to think about that, Nathaniel. I'll get back to you. Grandizer, Commanders go by committee at running back or stick with Gibson? Gibson will get more carries, but the other ones will do it. I think they're going to throw more, so J.D. McKissick and Brian Robinson will get a bunch of catches too. Quentin asked me what I think of Sam Howell. I think he's a real prospect. I know we get guys coming and going on there. We've got 30 people now. Good. Keep calling your enemies. Tell them keep going. So I think Sam is something. Who's this training camp's Marco Mitchell? Ooh, Ash Sheldon. I'll say no tree. I said that before. We do this so quick, man. You guys are like, I'm trying to do it. Guapos. Yeah, I've been to Guapos, Marvin. That's a good one. And Cuba Libre, but that's not Mexican food. That's Cuban food. Though nobody who works there, I understand, is Cuban. Last time they told me that. But Cuba Libre, which is on 9th and around H, somewhere around there, is really good. It's in that new city center kind of thing that they want to call that. Cuba Libre is really good. I've worked in the Dominican. Food's awesome. The Wobo, was there a time when a quarterback looked off on camp but great in the season? Vice versa? Yeah, all the time. Like Jeff George looked great in practice. But In horse racing, we call them morning glories. They can run great in the morning, but not in the races in the afternoon. Jeff George couldn't play in the games. Hank once says, Joey Slyer answered kicker. Yes, I like Joey Sly. Cool dude. I think so far he's kicked well and just got hurt that time. J Dubs, all right, J Dubs is back. In your opinion, which player signs the next extension? I would not be surprised if Deron Payne resigns. I think he's gotten better every year. Alexander Wilson, what's the best biography that you read? The Man to See. I don't have it on my shelf. I'm packing up my house because I'm moving. The Man to See is about Edward Bennett Williams, who ran the team. He's the guy who hired Beathard. He did a lot of great stuff with this team in between Marshall and Cook. The Man to See, he was a great lawyer in town, powerful guy. Really cool thing to see. That's a great biography. Are you going to be at any of the preseason games? I will be at the first one, Marvin. Just look above the end zone, the press box, bang on the glass. I'm in the middle. Alexander thinks Deron Payne's overrated, maybe? No. I think he gets better. It's hard to tell with an interior lineman at times, what's their role. But he does well. Most underappreciated player on the team might be Deron Payne on there. But I think the guards have done well last season. Charles Leno, people don't always talk about him as much, but he's played very well. Okay, Paul said, have they been to FedEx Field? Did they fix the turf and stadium? Yeah, they just had a concert on it over the weekend. And you always wonder with these big stages and stuff, what happens. And they had a monster truck rally, I think, like a month ago. So that makes me wonder about things. But they have, they redid the sod last year. So I think it should be good. I mean, but I'm sure they ripped it up. I don't know. Maybe you just have to do a new field every year until they move to a new field. And, the sport turf, artificial turf, whatever you call it, there have been some really good ones. The University of Maryland has one. It's awesome. I don't know why they don't play on that more. Marvin, is the Commanders my favorite team? Well, as a reporter, you try to be neutral about things. But I did grow up in Washington, so who am I supposed to like? The Cowboys? I mean, those are just people being antisocial. I have a grandson. My son-in-law is from Buffalo. When my grandson was born, his family sent him a Bills Mafia blanket. And I said, the hell with this. My grandson's not going to be a Bills Mafia fan. They're going to be all Commanders fans. They live in Washington area, be a Washington fan. That's how I feel about that. So do I like it when the team wins more than loses? Sure. I mean, winning teams are happy people, okay? And when you have to talk to people, happy people are nicer to talk to. When angry people upset with things, you tend to get FU a lot. So who likes that? Do I think that this team has one of the best rosters when healthy? Asked Timothy. I'd say maybe in the middle half of the league. Still need a lot more talent, in my opinion. Hank asked, do I see any similarities between Scott and his father, Norv? I covered Norv as a beat writer. Yeah, I see some of the play calling. I think Norv is better, and Scott's younger, so he's going to learn more. I think Scott throws a little bit too much, but people are down on Scott more than they should be, I think. Sometimes you got to remember, what was he working with last year? You keep changing quarterbacks and all that. Nathaniel says, can I do more weekend destination videos? People would watch them more than I would. I do one every Saturday morning about some place around town. Did Chesapeake Beach this past weekend. More places to go. I did the couple of aviation museums a couple of weeks ago. So I tried to. Marvin says, I used to read your articles. Well, I still do write for 1067 The Fan Odyssey, AUDACY.com, which is 1067 The Fan's owner. I do write for them, some and others. Let's see. J-Dub said, I mentioned the Museum of the Bible. What stands out the most about it? What I love about it is you can see it from the Air and Space Museum. It's only like 2 blocks off the National Mall down 4th Street, I believe. Is a great blend of technology with old-time stuff. You walk in, like the ceiling is like the Sistine Chapel at one time, but it changes all the time. They're in the elevator, and it has wraparound video screens on you. There's a part it feels like walking through the Old Testament. They do a great job there. So Museum of the Bible is well worth visiting. And they do a lot of not 3D, but whatever you call them now, like the statues in front of you talking, video wise, it's pretty wild. They're using a lot of new technology. That's what I like a lot. Steve says, are there any Cowboys besides Don Meredith and Calvin Hill that aren't jerks? Yeah, I mean, Troy's a good guy. You know, I don't want to tell all my Troy stories today, but Troy's a good guy. Mike Orvin, no. Randy White, I never quite forgave as a Maryland player playing for Dallas. Let's see. Oh, Marvin thinks I used to be related to Dan. No, I spell it Snider. He spells it with a Y. All that money, he can't spell his name right. Go figure. Let's see. Timothy, I think if everyone comes back healthy, Washington can really perform really well. Yeah, I think they can win 10 games. And we'll see after that. But I think they can win 10 games, and that would get you in the playoffs on there. All right, Steve says, enjoys the videos, a little bit of history around town. Yeah, whenever I try and walk around town doing tours, I try to stop somewhere. And on this spot, something stupid happened or whatever. There's a great one about a murder in the park at Lafayette where a woman was cheating on her husband, and the husband found out and murdered the guy. That guy was Francis Scott Key's son. And it was the case of temporary insanity. The guy got away from it. But that man was a general in the Civil War and got his leg blown off by a cannonball at Gettysburg. I mean, these are the kind of stuff I talk about. Go to Monumental there, and you can see some of the stuff I post several times a week. Let's see. Steve, Steve. Is Rivera on the hot seat? Asked Marvin. Nah, not yet. Yeah, go 3-14. Yeah. Favorite piece of sports memorabilia that I own? Well, I don't own a whole lot. I'm not a things person. When you grow up without money, you don't really become a things person, I think. But what do I have around here? Well, I have this one. I started packing up my office. I don't have much with me. I have like the last game of Cole, things like that. But this is the title of a book called America's Rivalry. It's the front cover. Terry Crews did this when he was a Redskin for us. I had to pay him for it, but it's airbrushed and all. If you'd like to buy this, I'm packing up my stuff. But it's the cover of that. Everybody knows Terry from TV. Great guy. Love Terry. Didn't last long as a linebacker, but good guy. Let's see. So, I caught up to you guys. Okay. Oh, some of you left. What happened? You can eat at Moe's. My Twitter handle is there. So if you're not following me on Twitter, I don't tweet a whole lot except game days. But I tweet some, including the videos and all. So I try to stay relevant best I can. Think Big said the Skins should have never let Cousins go. Well, in the end, Cousins wanted to go because he didn't like how he was being treated about things. But yes, they blew a chance to have a better quarterback than they've had. Put it that way. But, they've lived without him. How many Redskin games have I been to throughout the years? Asked Hank. A few hundred. That's a good question because I've been attending games regularly for 30 years. For many years, I did road and home. So probably 400 or 500, I guess. Yeah. Maybe more. That's a good question. I don't keep that in my head. Paul, if a stadium deal is not done by 2027, will Baltimore or Washington share with Baltimore or the Terps? No, they'll just stay at FedEx Field. They don't have to leave. Where can you find the Commanders games on the radio now, Kevin? Big 100.3 is iHeart station, and they have the rights now. Don Geronimo was talking to Rivera on the sideline the other day. I remember when Don Geronimo used to be the Don and Mike show many years ago in town. It was pretty one of the wacky people. They got tossed from practice and had to do their broadcast across the street at Carlisle. Now he's interviewing Ron on the sideline. So funny how sponsors get treatment now. All right, let's see. And Don's a big Redskin Commanders fan. Kevin, let's see. I did all right. Abe, I wrote to players in the 80s and received many back. Do you think the secretaries replied that? No, they signed it. What they would do, BJ is now gone, unfortunately, the secretary. But she would put stuff on, they put it on the counter, and the players check in as they come in and out of the facility. And BJ say, hey, here's something for you to sign. The key, if you want to do this, mailing it to the park, is have a stamp return envelope. Say we just literally sign the card or whatever, put it in the envelope, BJ'd mail it. Make it simple. And they still do this for you. So, like I said, return envelopes the key. And sometimes certain players get a lot more mail than others. So maybe it takes a little while, but they will do it. Is Kerrigan going to be the D-line coach? No, Marvin. He's just learning a little something about this. I could see him maybe being a high school coach. Let's see. J-Dub's team released behind-the-scenes draft videos showed the Jets and Steelers were calling for pick 16. Any idea what they were offering? Nah, I never really heard that one. Let's see. Are you going to do a live preseason broadcast next week? Every Monday, 8 to 9, more or less, is when I hope to be doing it, barring something happening. That's what I hope to do through the season. 8 to 9. Come spend your Monday nights with Rick. Let's see. Marvin's going to be there August 10th. Will I see you there? Let me look, Marvin. Let's see. That's next week. And that would be Wednesday. And I would say there's a good chance I will be there. So just yell at me, and say, Rick, come here. So, just don't yell anything mean. But yeah, I think there's a good chance I will be. I just try and go here when I can. Here I can. But I have things to do on stuff. All right. Michael wants to thank his computer for running a serious security scam in the middle of live stream. Get him back. Steve, you buy the Cardinal statement that Murray independent study clause was there for a reason? Nah, I don't believe any of this stuff. Paul Green from the stadium, will you report from there? Yes, after games. I'll do video afterwards. And you'll see me in the mobile center a little more often, or sit in my car and do stuff. Sometimes you have to be official connections with teams to do live reports in certain ways because of rights and all this stuff. So somebody like me, I tend to blend in the background and do mine there because I'm not paying any rights fees, not for free videos. What's the worst weather you ever experienced at a Skins game? Oh, the Woboat. I'm sorry. I had RFK, which was an open press box. It was so cold in the winter. They were playing, I believe, the Jets. I think it was a 3-0 game. It was so cold in there. I was down to typing with one finger each, crying. The highlight of the day was getting back to my car where there was heat because we didn't have any. And it would be cold there. Whew, I've covered a lot of games in the rain. I mean, first few years, I used to cover high school football. Rain on you all the time. Have I ever been to Philly Stadium, asked Marvin? Yeah, I've been there a number of times. Great place. I like the Vet, too. I like the old stadiums like RFK and the Vet. The new stadiums are about rich people and money. They're not about the old stadiums are about football. And that's all true about all stadiums. And, hey, I know it's capitalism. You're looking to make money as owners. I get it. But the old places have more character, in my opinion, than the new places. They're all about how much money can you get. And weird, today's young people watching the games, they're more about enhanced experiences, they call it, where they get to do extra stuff and they're, the social media aspects. And people say, oh, man, I hate going to the game. I was like, why? Were you behind a pole or something? No. You could see the game? Yeah. Well, that's what I do. I go to watch the game, whatever game, and buy a hot dog, drink a beer, and watch the game. And the rest of this doesn't matter to me, but they want to see all this technology around. Technology, man. Well, here we are with it doing now. Did you know George Jetson's birthday was yesterday? It's the day he was born for the Jetsons show. So I guess our air cars, flying cars are a little ways off. The Jets game Christmas Eve. I don't think it was Christmas Eve, but it was around that week. So maybe it was. I've done a few games on Christmas Eve. One time my wife threatened me. We were going to Mass at 8 o'clock, I believe, for Christmas Eve. And I said, okay, I will meet you at the church because I had a 1 o'clock game. Rode as fast as I could. And literally, I showed up at the church. The priest was at the top of the aisle. They started playing the music. I got over to my seat next to my wife with about 1 second to spare. And, man, did I get a look off of that. It's like, what? I made it. But, whoo, that was crazy. That just shows you what life is in sports. Can I get you Judy's number, Michael? Yeah, it's 806 and 509, something like that. I forget it. Hail to the Redskins forever. I think Judy was like 17 too, so watch it. Roger said hail to the Redskins forever. Yeah, now they're going to play this Hail to the Commander song. I guarantee you 90% of the crowd will be singing Hail to the Redskins. that are singing. Now, 90% of the Redskins crowd there, the, the opposing fans will be singing "Hail to the Commies." So that's going to be an interesting thing. I bet it goes for a few years, at least, before people start doing that. Frankly, the music would have been just enough. You didn't have to write new words because everyone knows what they are. Rock and Roll Part 2 was a big deal at Maryland Terps basketball games, and people still sing it a cappella when they stop playing the music. Now they start playing the music again. Everything old comes back on there. So, yeah, everybody's going to start singing "Hail to the Redskins." I mean, come on. The Thought Police, sorry, you don't control what we sing here. Is it okay to wear Redskins merchandise still? Asked Marvin. Oh, yeah. Hey, man, your body. But, yes, I'm sure there'll be a lot of Redskins jerseys at the games for 5 years or so. And then you'll eventually, flip a younger crowd that'll do it. So there's no prohibition against it. So why would they? You're still buying it, and so they're still making money, and I'm sure somebody's still selling them out there. So we got a few minutes to go, and everybody's been here tonight. Where is everybody? But it's always fun. Like I said, you can always go to Twitter, see what I tweet all the time. I don't tweet that much compared to some guys, but when I have something to say, I'll do it. And Monumental Thoughts is where my tour guide stuff is, and you can see a lot there. I do have a new book coming out September 13th, and I'll show it to you soon as I get them. And I'm going to sell them on my website so you can get them autographed by me. Can't do that on Amazon. And I make more money that way. So you'll be able to buy the book, around Labor Day, somewhere in there. What's the loudest game I've ever been to at RFK? Oh, that's a good question. I'd say the loudest games I've ever been to was like in Minneapolis Dome. I covered a NFC Championship game there. That was insane. Kansas City's really insane. NC State basketball is insane. They play the Wolves. I wish they'd done the Red Wolves just because the Wolf sound at Wolfpack games at NC State is awesome. Bringing back the Hogs and their Hogs nose. Yeah, why not? Yeah, there's guys that are doing the farmers. Farmers? Is that what it is? Hogskin people. They're carrying on the Hogs tradition. I know they have a real name, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. Great guys doing a lot of charity work. Wish them well. Rank the NFC East teams and QBs. Well, J-Dub, would say Washington wins the NFC East since we're doing this chat. Over Dallas, over Philly, over the Giants. I'll do quarterbacks another time. Great show, says Roger. Thanks. Grandizer. Sounds like you're ready to leave, but okay. Sorry. We want Dallas as loud, Michael. Yeah, but, I think it's more of a cliche now that people know to say that. But Dallas rivalry week is nothing compared to what it used to be. Partly because back in the old days, they meant playoff games, and now it doesn't. Lysis 1 says, what's my prediction of the Commanders? 10-7. I'm going to go 10-7. But give or take. I mean, I don't see them going 4 wins. I don't see them winning 13. So kind of in the middle of the road on all this stuff. Well, remember on YouTube, you can see the videos usually morning and evening around 7 o'clock both times. I post around then, and whatever's going on, or if there's nothing going on, I'll make something up to talk about an old guy or something like that. I do other sports occasionally, but mostly you people want to do Commanders. Do you think we'll win a playoff game since 2005? Sure. Well, I mean, eventually. But if they get to the playoffs, they could win a game. Let's see. The team needs to get back to its winning, so the rivalry means more to Justin. Yeah, no doubt of that. What player is no one talking about? Will surprise everyone, asks Hank. Maybe St. Just. Haven't talked about him enough. Okay. Grandizer's going to his own stream. Okay, well, that's okay. I'm getting tired anyway. J-Dubs, if we make the playoffs, what's your percentage? We'll finally win a playoff game. If they make the playoffs, I will say 70-30 they win that game, the first one. And then they have 7 playoff teams now, right? Each division, conference. So 10 wins should get you in, I would think, on all of this. What else are we talking about before I get going? Like I said, if you love a team paper, I've worked for them for about 30 years. The Command Post, we renamed it from Warpath. And it's not owned by the team in any way. Independent people, and I edit it. We do a lot of stories. Roger said you signed a linebacker. Not really. I don't see that. Think Washington can start 3-0. I think they'll be 3-1. I think they win the first two, and they'll win either Philly or Dallas. If they are 2-2, depends on who they win and lose to, or how much I'd be worried about. The corner from the USFL, yeah, they signed him. I haven't seen him yet to pay attention. It's an interesting thing, the USFL, getting players. But the NFL has a prejudice about things too. About they may sign other teams, leagues players, but they don't necessarily keep them. So because they're like very good, the NFL to have them. I don't know. The XFL is coming back to Washington. I've heard different talk about they may change the name from Defenders. If they do, they should call them the Red Wolves. Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be tweaking everybody. Okay, J-Dubs, deep dish or thin crust. I like both, and depends on who makes it. But I guess in general, deep dish. I can go either way. Did they let Collins go, asked Paul? Yeah. And he hasn't signed anywhere else yet. Derek says if Wentz throws 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, they win the NFC East. Yes. I don't think he'll do that, but he'll throw more. Let me try again. He'll throw more touchdowns than interceptions. Until I'm getting tired on this. Tomorrow morning, I am doing a piece on William Jackson. So that's my morning video. I kind of do them do them at the same time every day. I do a couple a day and then whatever news and try and stay topical. Tomorrow's MLB trade deadline. So I'm going to guess that Soto just stays here. But who knows? Maybe somebody's crazy enough to give him a fortune for him. I would be against it, but whatever. I don't run the team. Justin said, yeah, you're going for Red Wolves. I'm telling you, XFL being the Red Wolves would pick up a lot of fans. And hey, the other team did all the market research for you. So Defenders was a nice name too. Marvin says Soto's not leaving. That's my guess. But I'm only guessing. You hear a lot of stuff. I don't know. All right. It's 9 o'clock. People love the bell. I don't know. See? I didn't steal it from the hotel. I bought it. $5 off Amazon. That way when I want my dinner ready or something, no, don't hit that. I'd get it thrown at me. So a lot of people love the bell. Somebody's told me that. I've had more than one person tell me I love the bell because it means we're done. So, okay. Justin likes it. I don't know. A friend of mine suggested it, and I said, sure, why not? The show's a little different than everybody else. I don't do what other people do because you got 6 of those out there. It's a lot of good beat writers covering this team. I think it's as strong a group of beat writers as we've had in a long time. I'm just a columnist now. I'm the old guy in the room who can remember the 80s on this. So anyway, that should be it for today. I've bored you enough. Something must be on TV. I recently watched the whole 8 seasons of Game of Thrones because nothing's been on TV. And I said, I haven't seen it, but when it came out years ago, I watched all 8 seasons. I felt like I need to go to rehab or something after that. I'm wanting to stab people or something or go fly a dragon. But it was still pretty cool on there. All right. Yeah, Michael. Yellow-bellied sapsuckers. Sure. Let's do that. Let's go sapsuckers. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. If you want to hit the thanks button somewhere, I appreciate that too. And I will see everybody soon. All right. Bye, everybody.